Hello CraftDee family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So CraftDee. For today's DIY project, we will be making a smaller version of the planter bench that I created a while back. Now I received so many requests to make a single planter chair version of this project, and I am happy to share my redesign for a size that will accommodate smaller spaces. Now what's really exciting is that I created this for less than $10 with the current price of wood. Now, as always, all of the projects I create have complete supply lists in the description box, so you can easily use it for reference as you gather your supplies. Now, before we start, I have to say hey to all of my subscribers, and if you are a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well, and stick around to enjoy this project and see all the different ways that you can style this piece in your space. So now, let's just jump right into the project. Now going back, here is the full bench project that I previously made that is the full size. Now this project was inspired by a bench that I saw online for about $129, and I recreated it for a fraction of the cost. Now this bench does have a 20-inch seat that may be too long for some spaces and tabletops, so this new version should perfectly fit and accommodate those who want a single seat display piece. Now for the chair project, we'll need 2 3-packs of these 5-gallon paint stir sticks that were 98 cents from Lowe's or Home Depot. And we're going to need 2 1x2s. Now these are sold in 8-foot lengths and are currently priced at $2.28 each in my area, but be sure to check your region's pricing. Now to cut these, you can use a miter box and a saw, and these are really inexpensive at your local home improvement store, and they're about $10 to $11. Now I do have a miter saw, and I like to cut my wood this way. It's much easier to use, and this one was only $99 and actually still $99, and it cuts wood in a jiffy. Now the first pieces we're going to cut are 10.5 inches, and we're going to cut 11 pieces. We're going to cut 4 pieces at 7.5 inches. 2 pieces at 5.5 inches, and 4 pieces at 3 inches. Now for the paint stir sticks, we're going to cut 2 at 20 inches. We're going to cut 2 at 18.5 inches. And we're going to cut 2 at 12 inches and make sure the handle is not on these pieces. Now the first thing we're going to do for our project is we are going to take some of those 10.5 inch pieces, and we're going to take 5 of them and take 4 of the 7.5 inch pieces. Now I'm going to be staining these with my Jacobian stain by Minwax. Now when we do stain these, we want to stain the entire piece for this project, and this includes the sides and the both ends as well, and we do want to make sure that we do cover the entire piece as shown here. Now we're just going to continue until all of those 10.5 inch pieces are stained, and then we're going to finish off those 7.5 inch pieces as well. So now I'm going to lay out my grid mat, and we're going to start working with those paint stir sticks, and this will be the backing of our chair. So our chair will be about 12 inches wide, so I'm going to take that 12-inch stick as a guide, and I'm going to lay a piece of painter's tape down on my mat, so I'll make sure I'll have that width marked. Now the first 2 sticks we're going to grab are the 18.5 inch sticks, and these sticks will be on each end of the back of our chair. So I'm just rolling up a piece of painter's tape and placing it on those sticks and then sticking it to the mat. This will just ensure that they're nice and straight and they don't shift while you're working. Now you do want to make sure the bottom is lined up with the bottom of the mat as well. So now grab 2 of those 20-inch sticks, and we're just going to space those evenly in the center, and I found that 2 inches apart was perfect. Now again, we are going to place some of that rolled up tape on there, and we're going to tape them down to the mat as well, and they should remain in place nice and even, and these 2 will be even in the center. So now you see the top will form an arch, and the bottom will be straight across. So now we're going to take those 12-inch paint stir sticks, and we are going to lay one across the bottom and one across the top. Now we're going to make sure that they're 6 inches down from that tallest stick, and we're going to mark a line right across so we'll know where to adhere it when we add our glue. Now I'm going to be using my Chevron wood stick hot glue to adhere these in. Now you definitely can use wood glue on this project throughout, but just keep in mind it does take a little bit more time for wood glue to cure, and this wood stick hot glue will work perfectly since we're always going to be following up with another method to secure them in place. Now we're going to add that bottom piece as well, and this will be 2 inches from the bottom. Again, we're going to mark the placement of that 12-inch stick across the bottom and then add more of our wood stick hot glue. Now we're just going to press that firmly into place until it's nice and secure. So now to secure them in place with a staple, we're just going to take our staple gun and we're going to place a staple in each one of those sticks across the top and bottom. And now we can remove the backing of our chair, and here is our piece all assembled. So now we can set that to the side, and we're going to work on our seat bench. So grab 2 10.5-inch pieces and 2 of the 5.5-inch pieces. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to sandwich that 5.5-inch piece in between those 10.5-inch pieces to make a box. And I'm just going to add more of that wood stick hot glue on each end of that short piece and bond it to the inside edge of the 10.5-inch piece. Now once that's done, we're just going to add some of that glue to the ends there and press that bottom piece in place. We want to make sure we squeeze it nice and firm together so it'll be nice and secure, and here is our seat box. So I'm going to be drilling these together and I want to secure them with screws, so I'm going to be using some of these 1 1/4 inch screws that are number 6. And I'm going to take a 3/32 inch pilot hole, and I'm going to drill a pilot hole near the bottom edge of that seat box, about 1/2 inch from the bottom all the way around. Now you do want to make sure that that pilot hole is not in the middle, but it is near the bottom. Now once all 4 of those are done, we are going to screw in our wood screws in each one of those pilot holes until all 4 of them are nice and secure into place, securing our box together. So now we're going to grab 4 of those 10.5-inch pieces, and what we're going to do with these are going to be the legs of our chair. So I'm going to take my ruler, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 6 inches up from the bottom on that first stick and make a mark. Now once that mark is made, gather up the rest of your sticks and you want to lay them together nice and even, making sure the bottoms are even, and then we're just going to copy that line onto those other pieces so all of our legs will be even. So we're going to start to apply our legs to the outside of the box, and using that line that we marked will be the bottom of the seat box as shown here. Now to secure these temporarily, we are using our wood stick hot glue, and we're just going to apply some and adhere it to the outside of the box at each one of those 4 corners. Now once that first one is adhered, follow up with the second one the same way by adding that glue and pressing that corner into place, lining it up with that line. Now once these 2 sides are done, we're just going to repeat that for the other end, adding those 2 legs as well. And here are 4 legs all hot glued into place, holding in place until we screw them. So in order to screw these, we are going to apply 2 screws in a diagonal pattern. Now we want to make sure that we do not screw over that existing screw, so make sure your bottom screw on that diagonal is above the screw you just screwed in the corner. Now again, taking my drill, I am going to drill 2 pilot holes, again making sure I'm right above that screw, and drilling another one in the diagonal as shown here. Now we're going to do this on all 4 corners of our legs, and you can see here the 2 pilot holes that are drilled in a diagonal. So now I'm going to be taking some more of those 1 1/4 inch wood screws and putting those in those holes and screwing them in. These are the same ones as the same size as the first, they're just a different color. And we're just going to screw these right into those holes. And as you can see, we have 2 of the screws in, and just repeat this on all 4 of the legs. And now all 4 of the legs have that diagonal screw inserted, and that'll prevent the legs from wobbling out of place. So now we're going to grab 4 of those 3-inch pieces that we cut, and these will be the armrest supports at the top of each leg. Now when we apply these, we are going to be adding glue to the top of each leg and placing one of those 3-inch pieces right on top, making sure the inside edge is nice and flush. Now we are going to be hot gluing these at first, but towards the end when we add the armrest to it, we will be nailing or screwing these in, so no worries, this hot glue is temporary. So here is our bench frame all put together in its current state. So now what we're going to do is we are going to grab our chair backing, which we made out of the paint stir sticks, and we are going to grab our bench frame, and at this point we are going to prime it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 to 2 coats of this Zinsser 123 primer on both pieces, or you can paint it with some chalk paint by hand if you like. Now while that dries, we are going to take our stained pieces that we stained earlier, and we're going to start to assemble our seat and our armrests. So I'm going to be using my carpenter square that I got from the Dollar Tree for this to make sure everything is nice and square. So we're going to lay out all 5 pieces of our 10.5-inch pieces, and I'm just going to put a few dots of hot glue between each one of those sticks and press them together. Now we are just going to do this for all 5 of the pieces because we will be adhering this to the bench, but this is just to hold them together for the process as we go along. Now as you can see, that wood stick hot glue is holding those 5 pieces together, and we're going to repeat this for those 7.5-inch pieces. Now we are going to be hot gluing these 2 pieces at a time. Just add a few dots of that glue, press them firmly together until you have 2 completed armrests as shown here. So now that our primer coat is nice and dry, we're going to follow up with a coat of this Satin Bright White by Krylon, or you can add another coat of chalk paint or acrylic paint, or whatever your choice. And once those dry, here are both of our pieces ready to go, and we can start assembling our chair. So we're going to start with the bottom part of our chair, and we are going to take our seat that we just put together, and we're going to make sure that it fits right on top of that seat support. Now the back of the seat will always be flushed with the back, but the front you see will overlap, and this is the intended look, so it fits perfectly. Now to secure it in place, we're just going to run a bead of our wood stick hot glue on the top of that bench support all the way around, and then we're going to insert our bench seat right on top, and we're going to press it firmly into that glue. Now you do want to make sure that the ends are nice and even and the back is nice and even as well. So now we're going to work on our armrest supports, and we are going to add those armrests on top of those. So again, the back end will be flush and the front will slightly overlap just like our seat. So add a generous amount of that hot glue to the top of our armrest supports, and then place that armrest piece right on top. And then just repeat this on the other side. So now we have both armrests in place and our seat nice and secured to our frame. Now in order to secure everything in place, because you know we only hot glued those armrests in place, we are going to be drilling some holes down through the top of those armrests down into those legs. And these will be kind of deep because we will be using a longer screw to secure all the layers. Now once we have 4 sides drilled, we are going to use some 2-inch wood screws to put in there. Now we're just going to apply one of those 2-inch wood screws in each one of those corners right on top. And here are all 4 of our wood screws holding down those armrests onto our bench. Now our seat is nice and secure, but I did want to put 2 screws near the front where it overlaps just to make sure it's nice and secure. So I'm going to drill down near the front edge. I'm going to drill 1 pilot hole on each side. And then I'm going to use these 1-inch screws on each end just to screw that into place. Now this is just for security measures. You really don't need to add these, but just in case, since that piece does overlap, I thought I would just add 2 of those. Now, as you see, those screw heads are very visible, so we are going to blend those in by taking some acrylic paint in a chocolate brown and a black, and I'm just going to mix and blend these two colors together until I get a color close to my Jacobian stain. And I'm just going to take a fine paintbrush and I'm going to dab that paint inside that screw head and on the top, and making sure it's nice and covered. Now we want to let this dry and then apply a second coat, and that should be good to go. So now that those are nice and dry, we're going to flip the chair down with the good side facing down and the back side facing you. And then we're going to grab the back of our chair and we want to go ahead and apply that. Now make sure the stapled side of the back is facing you as you place it down on the back of the chair. Now the sides should be nice and even and line up perfectly. So we're going to take some of that wood stick hot glue and I'm just going to run a bead down each one of the legs first, and then take the back of our chair and place that backing right on top. You just want to make sure the back edge is even with the legs and each side is lined up nice and straight. And just press that down firmly into place. Now once that hot glue dries, we're gonna add more security by putting 2 screws on each side. Again, I'm gonna drill a hole about 4 inches down from that armrest and about 1.5 inches or so up from the bottom of the leg on each side. You want to make sure you drill down into the side of the leg, dust off all of that dust, and then we are going to be taking some 3/4 inch wood screws and screwing those right into place, just making sure the backing is nice and secure to the bench. And now all 4 of our screws are nice and secure, and we can flip our chair over and dust it off, and it is good to go. So now we're going to take one little extra step, flip it upside down, and what I like to do is run a bead of that wood stick hot glue along that bottom seam of the seat and also the bottom edge of those armrests. This is just a little bit of added security. I know I'm so extra with the glue, but I really like my projects to be nice, secure, and durable. Now once you do that for both arms and under the seat, we are ready to decorate our planter chair. And here is the completed planter chair version, and I think it is so adorable. Now I used the same picket fence concept for the backing, and I just shrunk it down to size. And the width of this planter chair is so much more compact, freeing up more space in your area. And these wood furring strips worked perfectly for this as well and saves so much money over premium wood cuts. Now if you want to decorate it, here is one that I placed a couple of mason jar plants and a floral decor for a sweet farmhouse look. Now I love the blend of colors in this optional decor, and these things can be found at the Dollar Tree. Now you could also choose to place decor underneath the chair as well. And you can even drape things over the pickets in the back. It's all up to you. Now, if you love books, how sweet would this be to display a few of your favorites from your collection? Now, you can add all sorts to accent decor along with them too. You can add a small plant or a frosted candle jar for a soft ambient glow. Now, I don't know about you, but I absolutely love fall decor. You can add some pumpkins and warm fall florals to this planter chair for pumpkin spice season. And this will be a great idea to change up for all of this season's upcoming. Now you can also opt for a neutral theme and keep a nice clean look that will blend in with all kinds of decor. Now, even though all of these looks give it a special touch, there's never one as great as your own. Now, if you're interested in any of the DIY decorative pieces I used in my staging, I'll be sure to link the tutorials for them in the description box below, and I'll also provide the link for the full bench project as well. Let me know in the comments how you would decorate this chair in your home. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following CraftDee on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Now, if you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen, and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.